What's up, you guys? All right, so when I was going on my run this morning, I was thinking about my short video, my reel, whatever that I did this morning. I was talking about 1 Corinthians, I think it's chapter 6, talking about where God talks about that we were bought at a price and that we're supposed to honor God with our bodies. I'm paraphrasing there, of course. And I was thinking about, what exactly does that mean? I mean, the easy thing, obviously, is talking about, we're not supposed to go around having sex with everybody and, being a bunch of maniacs just out there, sticking our ding-a-ling in every girl we see, right? I mean, that's just the surface for me, I think. It's obviously probably the hardest thing to do, I mean, it's not hard for me. I'm a married man, and, me and my wife, we love each other a lot. And I have no complaints in that department. But if I was a single dude, that'd be something that especially growing up, that was something that I always struggled with. Luckily, by the grace of God, I don't struggle with that issue anymore. But there's other things I struggle with, like getting up on time or eating the right food or not overeating, getting angry or yelling and all that kind of stuff. And the thing is as I was running this morning, I realized, I'm always having to slay demons all day. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, I'm slaying demons. And, I may have heard that term before somewhere, about slaying demons. But thinking about it this morning, I was like, man, that's like the truest thing, For example, when I wake up in the morning, that alarm goes off, and I wake up in that split moment, the first thing that comes into my head, and I always talk about this, but the first thing that comes into my mind is just hit the snooze button. Go back to sleep. Nothing happening. There's nothing happening here. Go back to bed. Snuggle with your wife. Just kick it. That's the first demon that comes into my head. The first thing that comes into my mind when I open my eyes, there's a demon telling me, just go back to bed. Nothing to do here. Nothing to see here. Nothing to do. You're okay. And so I've started training myself to just, nope, I'm getting up. And I'll pop up right out of bed. And I notice that when I pop up right out of bed, I'll start to wake up. And then it's like, I don't even need to sleep anymore. I'm up, right? It's probably why I'm so tired right now, though, because it's already 3 in the afternoon. If you're getting up at 4 and it's 3 in the afternoon, you're taking your lunch at 3 in the afternoon, that means I've been up for almost 11 hours. So I've been up 11 hours and it's barely 3 p.m. And, I go to bed like at 9. But the point is that the moment I wake up, there's already a demon in my head telling me to go back to bed, already challenging me, trying to get me to go against what I'm supposed to do, in opposition to everything that God would want for my life, to get up early and get the day started and start the work, get to work. Not necessarily to my job, but just get on it, start grinding. And the demon or the devil, whatever, is right there to tell me first thing in the morning, to do what I'm not supposed to do. And a lot of times, we do the things that we're not supposed to do. There's things that we want to do, like get up, but then we don't do it, even though we want to do it, but we just can't do it. There's a Bible verse that's just like that. I'm paraphrasing that too. But if you're familiar, you read your Bible, you know that I'm basically referring to a Bible verse that talks about, where Paul talks about, the things that we want to do, we don't do. And that we don't want to do, we end up doing, So, and then, so in the morning, the first thing that happens when I wake up, the demon comes, tells me to go to bed. All right, I beat that, slayed that demon. I'm up. I'm ready to go. And then, I made it a point to start recording these videos after I get dressed for my run. So right now it's about 4:10 in the morning, 4:15 in the morning, I start doing my video. But that little voice in my head tells me, you don't have nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about. Just go for your run. And I'm like, no, I'm going to record a video, even if it sucks. And I'm going to post it. And nothing's going to stop me from posting it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get better, right? And that's another demon I have to slay. And then I'm slaying demons all day. Sometimes I win, most of the time, right now I'm winning. But a lot of times, most of the time I'm losing. And, there's little losses that I'll have. Like, for example, a lot of my videos, they go unscripted. I'm not even scripting them so far. But I know in the back of my head, you got to start getting on your computer, which I have started, but I'm not doing a good job of it, which is just typing out what I'm going to talk about. Like, outline what I want to speak about. Don't just leave it to chance or just, on the cuff, putting these videos together. Actually put together some content, I know in the back of my head that I need to start doing the videos and just doing them to build the habit of just doing them. And now I got to build that habit of actually preparing for them. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of little levers and mechanisms and gears and cogs that are working. And some are broken and some are starting to work. But I know that there's things that I got to do to get better at making these videos and actually put together some good content. I ain't gonna lie, I know my content right now sucks, but that's okay because I know that I have there's a small victory in it. That just putting these videos together, just recording, talking as best as I can, get familiarity with speaking in front of the camera and actually saying some stuff. And that's a demon that I'm slaying. Right now I'm slaying a demon. Because the moment I left work for lunch, I wanted to go eat something, right? Instead of, staying true to my intermittent fasting, And I'm slaying that demon right now. I haven't won yet because I haven't gone back to work. I mean, it's still possible that I could convince myself to go down the street and get some Chinese food or something or whatever. But for the most part, at this moment, I'm winning. I slain the demon. I'm putting this video together, even though I didn't prepare for it. And that's a demon, the demon tells me, don't worry about putting your stuff on, your thoughts on paper. Don't worry about preparing. Just do it on the cuff, man. It's gonna be fine. That's the devil. The devil's real sneaky. These demons, they're real sneaky because sometimes they'll convince you that they're not even the devil. Sometimes they'll try to convince you that it's God or that it's not even any God or the devil. It's just they'll try to convince you that they are you. You'll think it's you talking in your brain, and it's not you. It's them telling you to do stuff that you don't want to do. Like when you fight with yourself, when you smoking a cigarette, if you have a cigarette habit, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because there's always those moments when you want to quit and you don't want to smoke anymore because you know it's bad for your health and it's killing you. But instead, you'll end up smoking that cigarette. And when you smoke that cigarette, you're defeated. But it wasn't you who defeated it. You defeated yourself, but it wasn't your voice in your head necessarily that was telling you to smoke that cigarette. Why? Because you don't want to smoke this cigarette. You don't want to do the thing you're not supposed to do, whatever it is that you don't want to do, but that you're going to do anyway. It's not you, it's the demon. And you got to slay those demons. Right now I'm learning and teaching myself how to slay those demons. Get rid of them because all they want to do is destroy you. I know that these demons want to destroy me and they don't want me to be that dude that's going around spreading the gospel, telling people about Jesus or telling people about my experiences with getting my crap together so that I could be a better human being and shine for the glory of God. They don't want that. So those demons are always all day long trying to tell you what to do. And every time they tell you, they never tell you what you should do. They always tell you what you should not do. And that's one of the ways I always try to know if it's coming from God or if it's coming from one of these demons, is because I always ask myself the question, is this something that God would tell me? When like something that's not even nefarious or sinister, just like going back to bed. Like would God ever like waking up at 4 a.m. and then you hear that voice saying, just go back to sleep, it's okay, you'll be fine. You've had a great week. Every day you woke up, today you could sleep in a little bit. Like, is that something God would say? Or would God say to me, hey bro, you've been sleeping your whole life. You've been a bum your whole life. Sleep when you're dead. Get your ass up and start going about my business. Start doing what you need to do. Start telling people about Jesus. Start telling people about who I am. Start getting out there and helping others. Doing whatever you got to do. Giving of yourself. Doing something. Or is that something God would say? I think so. The God I worship would tell me to do something to help others. The devil wouldn't tell me that. The devil is not going to be in my head telling me, hey, man, you know, let's go to a place, a soup kitchen. Let's, you know, help feed the homeless. The devil ain't going to tell me that. That's something God would tell me to do. The devil's not going to tell me, hey, man, let's make a video so that you could tell people about God. He's not going to tell me that. That's something that God would tell me, right? So I pray, you know, like, for example, God might tell you, hey, pray for discernment. The devil ain't going to tell you to pray and ask God for discernment, you know, to know the difference. So part of my development right now is trying to figure out who's talking to me. What am I doing? What I'm supposed to do? Do I have the will to do what's right and what's right for my life and what I need to do in order to be a good human being? There's a lot of information out there on the internet. There's a lot of interesting people like Andrew Tate, who I like a lot, who I don't agree with everything that he says, but I like where he goes with a lot of his stuff, you know? And then there's all these other YouTubers and stuff that I love to watch. And I try not to watch too much of it because, you know, you have to be able to develop your own thoughts. If you constantly just taking in without taking the time to sit in silence and think about stuff, you're not gonna really know who you are. There's a lot of ideas I have floating in my head, things that I want to talk about, and then I started to realize, hey man, you need to actually just sit in thought and prayer and work out some of these ideas that you have, because it's all in there. Like, I got experience in a lot of stuff. I'm married. I got a bunch of babies' mamas, for example. I've loved and lost. You know, I've made lots of mistakes. You know, I ran around with gangsters, and I ran around with church people. I've been going to church. I've done bad. I've done good. I've done, you know, I've been a good dad to, you know, one or two of my kids, and been a horrible dad to the other two. You know, like, been in fights, and, you know, I do jujitsu, and I've been to jail. I mean, I've done all. I've traveled. I mean, not extensively, but, you know, I've done a lot with my life. I've got my crap together. I went to school, and you know, was able to get a law degree, and there's just a lot of things that I've done, and then there's a lot of things I haven't done. I got a lot of regret. There's a lot of things that I feel like I could save others from, you know, like getting not like the way I chose women when I was younger. You know, picking women just for their bodies, basically, just because they were there and they were willing to have sex with me, you know, and giving myself away, you know, without knowing my true worth and value. I mean, everybody's experienced that. I mean, I've overcome smoking and drinking and all this stuff, and I will really want to help people, you know. I don't want to just, I want to make videos and stuff like that and be on YouTube, and, you know, I guess you could call it an influencer. I never really think about it that way. I just think, like, you know, God talks to me in my mind and tells me to do videos and to help others. I don't know why I chose videos. It just came into my mind, into my heart. And I've been trying to put together podcasts and videos for, like, since before right when the pandemic happened. You know, I even during the pandemic, I bought me a podcast machine with microphones and all the bells and whistles, and I just never did anything. I just never did it. I would make a video here and there, some about UFC, some about other stuff. And, you know, I just never followed through. So that's basically what I'm trying to work on right now. This is only like my fourth video, I think, of consistently. This is the first time I ever put 4 videos together consistently, or at least 3, or posted one every day for the last 4 days. First time I've ever done that. So you're thinking, like, 4 videos. But believe it or not, over the last 3-4 years or whatever, it's been since 2001, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Over the last 3-4 years, I've the most videos I put together and consecutively would be 1, maybe 2. But for the most part, never followed through with anything. And I don't know what it is, but I feel this burning desire to stop being a loser, Stop having a poor mindset. Start following through on the things I say I'm going to do. Start figuring out what it is that's going to make me the man that I know I could be. You know, how to be a better husband, a better father, a better earner, a better jiu-jitsu practitioner, a better teacher, because I teach jiu-jitsu, and how to follow through on goals, my ambitions. There's a lot of things that I want to do, or making videos, whatever it is. I gotta learning how to follow through. You know, there's at some point in your life you gotta decide, man. You know, I'm tired of being who you are, because being who you are, in my opinion, is never good enough. You know, people tell us all the time, "Oh, you're good the way you are. You're fine just the way you are." And I think that's a horrible thing to say to somebody. You are not fine the way you are. I am not okay the way I am. Being a bum, sitting down, watching TV, or hanging out on my phone all day, or not working, not spending time with my kids as much as I should, or yelling at my kids, or yelling at my wife, or any of this kind of stuff. Like, being a better human being, like, it matters. This morning I made a video about, you know, how we're supposed to, you know, we're bought at a price, and now we're supposed to worship God with our bodies, right? Or give our bodies to God. And it doesn't just mean, you know, not having sex. It's like eating healthy. It's learning, reading books, educating yourself, you know, caring about it, dressing nice, caring about yourself, and not just, you know, being a bum. Because we were bought at a price. Jesus Christ did die for our sins, and he did do all that. And I think I'd be mad too if I went through all that, dying on a cross, being nailed, and dying a horrible death, and just to see my creation sitting there, getting fat, watching TV, eating chips on the couch. Like, that would make me pissed off. I'd be pissed off. Like, man, this is what I died for this. I went and died a horrible death for this guy so that he could do this. Like, that's some BS, man. But that's exactly how I lived for 40, you know, I'm 45, you know, for the majority of those years, 45 years, basically, lived like a bum. And I'm just tired of that. So every single day I've been, you know, working hard. The running at 4 a.m, eventually I'm going to get bored of that, or, you know, it's just not going to have the same effect it's having right now, but it's a start. It's a catalyst for me to do better and bigger things. It's about learning discipline and like learning how to make good choices, learning how to mind control, learn how to control my mind and my thoughts for the good, you know. And unless I take these small steps to learn how to do that, I'm always going to be that guy who's just mediocre. And who wants to be mediocre? I don't want to be mediocre. You know, I don't want to be a bum my whole life and have my wife look at me like, you know, this is the guy I married. You know, he's not a go-getter. Because believe me, my wife lets me know, you know, I have a good wife. She's always worked really hard to what I used to feel was just complaining and being a bitch. But she's really doing is letting me know where my shortcomings are. You know, it's when you have a wife or a woman in your life that'll give it to you straight. And, you know, a lot of times as men, we see it as nagging, and it is nagging. But if you switch a little gear in your head and say, all right, I'm just going to turn it back on, because a lot of times we tune them out. If we just turn it back on and just listen to what they're saying without responding in kind, or without getting angry and blowing up at them, because I've done that so many times to my wife, where I just get fed up with what she's telling me, because she's just yelling at me or just criticizing me or whatever. Like, actually listening with intending not to respond, and just listening to what she's saying, she gives me gold. You know, she lets me know where I fall short. And I just have to be willing to hear that. And you know what? If you're willing to listen, you'll be able to make good, positive changes. I mean, when I met my wife, I was drinking all the time and smoking, vaping, smoking weed every day. That's all I did. It wasn't working much. And man, all she did was nag. And I'm like, well, why'd you marry me? Or why'd you get with me? And I was fat, 250 pounds. You know, I'm still pretty chubby, but I'm getting better. I'm losing weight. I'm about 210 right now. But when she met me, I was 249. And she would complain about all this stuff. And I'd be like, well, why'd you get with me? Why did we start dating? Why? You know, she saw something in me I didn't see in myself. And, I like to say it was, I had my designer gi on and I was just flossing and, but the truth is, man, she probably got with me because she saw me as a guy who was no threat to her, right? But that's not good. That's not necessarily good either. I think like a guy like Andrew Tate might say, or these other guys are on there might say, no, you got to be a threat. Your girl, even though we're married and we're committed, she's got to know or at least feel like she could lose me anytime, because she could, right? She could lose me, or she cheated on me, or she, was abusive to me. I'd leave. I'm not gonna stick around for that. But my point is, before I go off on a tangent, is that if we listen to other people's criticisms, we listen to other people what they're saying about us, we can learn a lot from that, and we could use that negative energy to make changes. That's what I did. I used that negative, I remember I would go on runs. I'd be like, I'm going to show you, bitch. I'm going to show you. And I'd get off the drinking, get off the smoking. I mean, it was mainly because of God and, going to church. But I was smoking and drinking for the first year of going to church. I would vape in the bathroom. I'd be hungover at church. I'd be smoking weed. I'd be high at church, And I would pray for God to, transform me. I'd be like, God, please, get me off of this. I want to stop doing it, but I just don't know how. I can't, and I would use my desire to show my wife that, hey, I could do this. God used the people in my life, especially my wife, to get me off of the drugs and alcohol and to start exercising more. I mean, I was an athlete. I am an athlete. When I started going to church, I was a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I was already a purple belt when I met my wife a couple years ago. And it's already been more than a couple years now. Point is that I was an athlete, but I was still vaping, drinking, smoking. Like, I was a mediocre athlete, mediocre, right? And then finally I got off of that stuff because I was willing to listen to my wife and take it serious. Normally in the past, when a girl started complaining about my drinking or smoking, I would just get rid of her. I'm done with you. I don't need to, sit here and listen to you. I'd go off and I would choose the alcohol and the drugs over them. And, that's not good, because then you end up staying in the same place. No growth whatsoever. And so luckily this time I stuck it out with my wife that I've been married to for a couple of years now, and extremely happy with her. But a lot of that happiness with her stuff really just comes from being happy with myself, in that I am making progressions, that I'm continuously changing and adding to my value as a human being. And the more value that I give myself, the better I feel. Am I happy all the time? No, of course not. But I've learned to deal with the situations of life, stress. If there's stress, if something's hurting, or, I'm not feeling well, or if I don't feel good, or I'm unhappy, I know how to overcome that. If I'm dealing with stress, I know how to overcome it now. I'm getting better at overcoming it. Am I a master at it? No. Am I making improvements? Yes. Have I still lashed out at my wife or the kids? Absolutely. But I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot better. And I'm making the changes necessary. So that's a step in the right direction. And that's where we want to go, right? We want to make steps in the right direction. We want to keep moving up instead of moving back. Or moving forward instead of moving back, moving up instead of going down. And the way we're going to do that is the way I've been doing that and making these small progressions and improvements, is by being mindful and having awareness of where I am in life and what it is I'm trying to do, and how I'm going to get there. A lot of this stuff I should be doing more to write it down and to actually think about it. I think like sitting in your car in a quiet place. I do, like at 5:30 in the morning, I've been sitting in my car, just sitting there, praying and thinking and trying to figure out how I'm going to, how am I going to bring more money and more improvement into my life. And, that's what I've been doing. But one thing I know for sure, to bring it full circle, is that I owe it to God to be a better human being. I owe it to him to keep my body clean, to keep my mind clean from pollution, like impure thoughts, lustful thoughts thoughts of anger or hate or violence, I owe it to him. And I owe it to him because what he did, he died on the cross for us. We're his creation. We owe him life. He gave us life. And the only thing that we can give God that he didn't, the only thing we could give him is it back. Give our life back to him. There's nothing on this earth that he didn't give us. There's nothing on this earth that I didn't get from him that I could give to him as a gift. The only thing I could give him is my life back. And man, that is not easy to do. You know, there's so many things I want that are not of him, you know, especially when I was a teenager. Man, when I was a teenager, I just wanted to be a rock star, or not a rock star, but like an R&B singer, and have sex with all kinds of women and do drugs and drink and be cool, have nice cars and nice things, you know, all for the wrong reasons, selfish reasons. And it took me, man, half a lifetime to realize that I was put on this earth not to indulge in my own desires, but to fulfill the desires that God has for me in my life. That's why I'm here. I believe that's why I'm here. Reading the scriptures and reading the Bible and talking to people and having people in my life and all the things that have happened, and then all the distractions that you start to notice with social media and with the media, the regular media and all the crap they're trying to push on us. You start to realize, oh man, I'm under attack 24/7 by these demons, and I gotta be a demon slayer. Slay these demons so that they can come back and put me right back where I started from, right back in the gutter, with my mind in porn, or in my mind in lustful thoughts, or having sex with random women, and drinking and smoking and vaping and getting high, all that crap, getting angry and having fights and going to bars and stealing and killing, just whatever it is you're doing, like all that stuff. Like, I don't want to be back in that. Man, I was such a bum. And I'm talking about as an adult. Like, man, I was in my late 20s and even early 30s, working as a handyman, doing nothing with my life. Drinking, smoking, having sex with random women, no education, hadn't even gone to school yet, just being a bum. And at some point, man, you're either just gonna go all the way down, or you're gonna have to make a choice to lift yourself back up. And it's a choice. We have a choice. We either lift ourselves out of what we're at and develop a new mindset that we're gonna go and be something different and actually strive to make changes, not care what the naysayers say, not care about people and what they think about you. And believe me, I already, from making a few of these videos, I already lost a couple of people on my Instagram. I don't know if it's because of these videos, but it's certainly suspicious. And I expect to lose friends. So-called friends, right? The majority of the people on your Instagram, you don't even really know if you're friends, or you might not even be friends at all, So I expect to lose people, but so what? Who cares? That demons, we just gotta slay them. Just like every morning when I make these videos, should I post it? Should I not post it? I don't want to be that guy who's always preachy and all that kind of stuff. That's the devil, man. That's the demons. And I just got to slay that. You don't want to hear my videos about preaching or about Jesus? Don't listen. Don't watch them. Who cares? Stop caring. I got to stop caring about that kind of stuff and just move forward with what I think I should be doing. And so anyway, that's pretty much what I got for right now. I got to get back to work, be a demon slayer, kick some butt, and be holy. Or stay holy.